The 1987 D. Lincoln 1-cent penny coin is one of those fascinating pieces of American coinage history that continues to surprise collectors and investors alike. Minted in Denver, this coin might look like an ordinary penny to most people, but for coin collectors who know what to look for, it holds a story of value, rarity, and the incredible potential to be worth thousands of dollars today. With a current market value reaching up to $35,856, this small copper-plated zinc coin has made a huge impact in the world of numismatics. To truly appreciate the 1987 D. Lincoln penny, we need to go back in time and understand its background. The coin belongs to the long-running Lincoln cent series that began in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the Lincoln penny has gone through several changes in metal composition, minting process, and small design variations over the decades. By 1987, the penny had already seen the transition from copper to copper-plated zinc, a change that took place in 1982 when the United States Mint decided to reduce production costs. The Denver Mint, identified by the D Mint mark located just below the year 1987 on the coin's obverse side, was responsible for producing hundreds of millions of these pennies. At first glance, the coin appears common, but certain variations, errors, and conditions make some of them highly valuable. Collectors have learned to look for specific features, and that's what separates an ordinary penny from a small fortune. The obverse side of the coin features the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, facing right. Above his head is the word Liberty, while the date 1987 and the D Mint mark appear to the right. The motto, "In God We Trust," is written in a semicircle above Lincoln's head. On the reverse side, you'll see the Lincoln Memorial, a design that had been in use since 1959. The inscriptions include United States of America at the top, E Pluribus Unum above the memorial, and 1 cent below it. Now, let's talk about what makes certain 1987 D. Lincoln pennies so valuable. Not every coin from this year is worth a fortune. The majority of them are still worth 1 cent in circulation. But rare variations, minting errors, and coins in pristine condition, especially those graded at the top levels by professional grading services, can be worth thousands. One of the biggest factors determining the coin's value is its condition. Coins graded as mint state, MS, by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC are the ones collectors pay top dollar for. A coin graded MS67 or MS68, with full luster, sharp details, and no signs of wear, can fetch impressive amounts at auctions. High-grade examples of the 1987 D. Lincoln penny have been sold for several $1,000s, and some in top condition have reached the incredible value of over $35,000, making it one of the standout coins of its era. Another factor that can make a 1987 D penny extremely valuable is minting errors. Error coins are always sought after because they are accidental products of the minting process and are rare by nature. Some of the known errors for the 1987 D Lincoln penny include off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, and coins struck on the wrong planchet. A double die obverse, where details such as the date or lettering appear slightly doubled, can significantly increase a coin's value. Similarly, off-center strikes, where the design is misaligned during striking, can make the coin worth hundreds or even thousands, depending on the degree of the error and the visibility of important details like the date and mint mark. There are also transitional planchet errors where coins were accidentally struck on leftover metal blanks from previous years. Although such errors are extremely rare for the 1987 D penny, their discovery can send shockwaves through the collector community. For anyone who wants to know if their 1987 D Lincoln penny might be worth a fortune, here are a few key things to check. First, look at the coin's condition. If it has sharp details, no scratches, no signs of circulation, and retains its original red luster, it might already be worth more than face value. Next, look carefully at the date, mint mark, and lettering under good lighting or magnification to check for doubling, distortions, or other unusual features. Finally, if you suspect you have an error or high-grade example, it's worth getting your coin professionally graded. Collectors also pay attention to the coin's color designation. Lincoln cents are usually categorized as RD, red, RB, red-brown, or BN, brown, depending on the amount of original mint red luster remaining. Fully red coins in high mint state grades are much rarer and therefore command the highest prices. To give you an idea of the market, circulated 1987 pennies are common and usually only worth 1 cent. But in uncirculated condition, their value starts to increase. In MS65 grade, they can be worth around a few dollars, while in MS67 or higher, the price skyrockets. The record price for a high-grade 1987 penny is an impressive $35,856. That coin was in near-perfect condition, with a deep red luster, razor-sharp strike, and perfect surfaces. Now, let's talk about the fascinating history behind why such modern pennies can reach these prices. Over the past few decades, the demand for high-grade modern coins has increased dramatically. Collectors are no longer only interested in ancient or early 20th century coins. They're also passionate about finding modern issues that have survived in pristine condition despite being mass-produced and heavily circulated. The 1980s Lincoln pennies are notorious for having weak strikes, poor mint quality, and zinc corrosion issues, making fully preserved examples very rare. The combination of a high-quality strike, excellent preservation, and brilliant luster makes certain 1987 pennies truly stand out. As more collectors compete for these top-quality examples, their market value keeps increasing. It's also important to mention that the 1987 Lincoln penny represents an era of transition in U.S. coinage. After the introduction of the copper-plated zinc composition in 1982, many coins developed problems such as bubbles, peeling, or surface imperfections. Finding a coin from the late 1980s that avoided these issues and remains in flawless condition is rare indeed. That rarity factor is a major reason why these coins can sell for such astonishing amounts today. If you want to start collecting or investing in Lincoln cents, the 1987 is a great example of how attention to detail and patience can pay off. Searching through rolls of pennies from banks, coin shops, or old collections might reveal hidden treasures. Many collectors have found rare error coins or high-grade examples by carefully inspecting coins others overlook. Another aspect to keep in mind is professional authentication. If you believe your 1987 Lincoln penny is valuable, having it certified by a reputable grading service like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC, adds legitimacy and significantly increases its resale value. Coins graded and encapsulated by these companies come with an official grade and unique serial number, which collectors trust when buying or selling. Over time, the story of the 1987 Lincoln penny has continued to inspire both new and experienced coin enthusiasts. It reminds us that treasures can still be found in everyday change and that even a single penny can hold immense value if it possesses the right combination of rarity, condition, and demand. The rise in value of this coin also highlights the importance of studying and preserving history. Each coin minted by the U.S. Mint is a tiny piece of the nation's legacy. The image of Abraham Lincoln has adorned the cent for more than a century, symbolizing perseverance, leadership, and the pursuit of freedom. Collectors see this coin not just as a piece of metal but as a connection to America's rich heritage. When a 1987 penny in extraordinary condition reaches values above $35,000, it's a testament to the passion of collectors who continue to search for perfection in every small detail. Whether it's a flawless strike, a brilliant red surface, or a unique mint error, each coin tells a story of craftsmanship and chance. If you're wondering where such coins are found, many have been discovered in coin rolls, old jars, estate sales, or inherited collections. Sometimes people find them accidentally and later realize they possess a valuable piece of numismatic history. That's the beauty of coin collecting. Anyone can strike gold, or in this case, copper, if they take the time to look closely. For those wanting to preserve their coins, proper storage is crucial. Exposure to air, humidity, or acids from human skin can cause damage or discoloration. It's best to handle coins by the edges, store them in protective holders, and keep them in a dry, temperature-controlled environment. The 1973 D Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny coin is one of those fascinating pieces of American coinage that continues to surprise collectors and enthusiasts alike. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary penny, the kind you might find in your pocket change, but the truth is, certain rare variations and errors from this year and mint have made this coin incredibly valuable. In fact, a pristine example of the 1973 D Lincoln penny has reached a current market value of an astonishing $92,453. This might sound unbelievable, but when you dive into the history, design, minting process, and rare errors associated with this coin, you'll understand why some examples are worth small fortunes today. To appreciate the true value of the 1973 D Lincoln penny, we need to go back to its origins. The coin belongs to the Lincoln cent series, first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin featured Lincoln's portrait on the obverse, or front side, making it the first U.S. coin to feature a real person. Over the decades, this design became a symbol of American history and pride. The 1973 D version, minted in Denver, continued this legacy. The obverse displays the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing right, with the word Liberty on the left, the year 1973 on the right, and the mint mark D under the date to indicate it was struck in Denver, Colorado. Above Lincoln's head are the famous words "I in God we trust," a national motto that has appeared on U.S. coins for generations. The reverse side features the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This replaced the earlier wheat ears design that had appeared from 1909 to 1958. If you look closely at the reverse, you can even see a tiny depiction of the Lincoln statue inside the memorial, a tribute to the man himself. The inscriptions United States of America and E Pluribus Unum appear above the building, while 1 cent is displayed below. Now, while millions of these pennies were produced at the Denver Mint in 1973, over 3 billion, in fact, not all of them are the same. The vast majority of these coins are common and worth only their face value. However, rare minting errors, special strike qualities, and unique conditions have made some examples incredibly valuable to collectors. This is where the 1973 D penny valued at $92,453 comes into the spotlight. Let's explore what makes a 1973 D penny so valuable. First and foremost, condition plays a major role. Coins that have been preserved in exceptional condition, known as mint state or uncirculated, can command high premiums. Collectors use a grading system that ranges from poor P1 to perfect mint state, MS70. A coin graded MS67 or higher is considered extremely rare for a penny from this era. The 1973 D Lincoln penny that reached the high value of over $92,000 was one such example, graded in near-perfect mint state condition with stunning luster, strong strike details, and virtually no visible marks or blemishes. Another factor that influences value is the presence of minting errors. The 1973 D penny is known to have several types of notable errors. Some examples show a double die obverse, where certain features like the date, mint mark, or lettering appear double due to misalignment during the striking process. This doubling effect is one of the most sought-after errors in coin collecting because it creates a visibly unique coin. A 1973 D penny with strong doubling on the date or lettering could easily fetch thousands of dollars, depending on how bold the error is and how well preserved the coin remains. There are also off-center strike errors, where the coin is not properly aligned in the press, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted toward the edge. These off-center strikes can vary from minor misalignments to dramatic off-centers where part of the coin's blank metal is visible. A 1973 D penny with a 50% off-center strike, showing clear details of Lincoln's portrait, can bring in significant money from collectors who specialize in error coins. Another rare type is the broad strike error, where the coin is struck without the collar that normally holds its shape. This results in a penny that appears larger and thinner than normal. There are also die cracks, die breaks, and even repunched mint marks, where the D mint mark was struck more than once during production. Each of these errors tells a story about how the coin was made, and each adds to its uniqueness and desirability among collectors. But eras and grades aren't the only reasons for high value. The provenance, or history of ownership, can also play a role. Coins that have been featured in major auctions, published in numismatic journals, or owned by notable collectors often sell for higher prices because of their documented history. The $92,453 valuation likely comes from a combination of rarity, pristine condition, and market demand among serious collectors who wanted to own one of the best examples of a 1973 D penny ever discovered. The material composition of the 1973 D Lincoln penny also adds to its historical appeal. It was made primarily of 95% copper and 5% zinc, part of the traditional copper alloy used for US 1-cent coins before the composition changed in 1982 to mostly zinc with a thin copper coating. This copper-based alloy gives older pennies a distinctive reddish-brown or bronze hue, and over time, depending on how the coin was stored, the color can change from bright red to brown. Collectors often look for coins with original red luster because they indicate minimal exposure to air and handling. When evaluating a 1973 D penny, professionals consider several factors: luster, color, strike, surface marks, and eye appeal. The rarest coins are those that look freshly minted, with full details in Lincoln's hair and beard, sharp edges on the lettering, and clean fields free from scratches or wear. If you happen to find a 1973 D penny that still glows with its original copper-red brilliance, and shows no signs of circulation, you might be holding a treasure worth far more than 1 cent. Collectors also pay attention to the so-called full steps designation on the reverse side of the coin. This term originally applies to Jefferson nickels but can loosely describe a sharply struck coin with crisp architectural details. On the Lincoln Memorial design, the steps of the building and the statue inside should appear clear and well-defined. This level of detail only appears on coins that were struck with fresh dies and handled carefully after minting. The market for rare Lincoln pennies has been steadily growing, with collectors worldwide competing to own the finest examples. Online auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, and Great Collections have recorded record-breaking prices for top-graded pennies, and the 1973 D Lincoln penny is no exception. As demand increases and the number of well-preserved coins decreases, values continue to climb. It's also worth noting that the Denver Mint has a history of producing coins with subtle variations and striking issues, which adds intrigue to coins like the 1973 D penny. Unlike proof coins struck at the San Francisco Mint for collectors, Denver's coins were intended for circulation, meaning most were used, scratched, and worn down. This makes finding one in perfect condition incredibly difficult. For those wondering how to check if they might have a valuable 1973 D penny, here's what to do. Start by examining the coin under good lighting or using a magnifying glass. Check the date and mint mark for doubling. Look at the overall condition, and pay attention to the edges and lettering. If your coin appears unusually crisp, bright, or displays an error, it might be worth submitting it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. These companies authenticate coins, assign grades, and provide secure holders that protect and certify the coin's value. Once graded, coins can be sold through auction houses, online marketplaces, or private collectors. Always do research before selling because rare coins can fluctuate in price depending on collector demand and metal prices. Some coins that sold for a few $1,000s years ago are now valued at tens of thousands. The 1973 D penny valued at $92,453 may have started as a simple pocket change find, but its condition and rarity transformed it into a collector's dream. Beyond the monetary value, the 1973 D Lincoln penny tells a story about American history and craftsmanship. It connects us to the legacy of Abraham Lincoln, one of the nation's most admired presidents, and to the artistry of Victor David Brenner, whose design has stood the test of time for over a century. Every scratch, every gleam of copper, and every tiny variation carries with it the mark of human effort and history. When you think about it, it's astonishing that something as small and common as a penny can hold such incredible worth. It reminds us to pay attention to the little things in life: the overlooked coins sitting in a jar, the change you receive at a store, the items that seem ordinary but may have hidden treasures waiting to be discovered. The 1988 D Lincoln 1-cent penny coin may look like an ordinary coin at first glance, but what many collectors don't realize is that this particular year and mint mark combination can be worth an astonishing amount of money today. In fact, some examples of the 1988 D Lincoln penny have reached a current market value of up to $78,998. Yes, you heard that right. A simple penny from 1988 minted in Denver could be hiding in your change jar and be worth nearly $80,000. Let's explore the fascinating story behind this coin, what makes it valuable, how to identify it, and why collectors are paying such high prices for these small pieces of American history. The Lincoln cent has been one of the most iconic coins in American history since its introduction in 1909. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse side features the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, honoring his 100th birthday. Over the decades, the Lincoln cent has gone through a number of design and composition changes, but one thing remains constant. Collectors continue to search for rare varieties, minting errors, and special features that make certain coins stand out from the rest. The 1988 D penny is a perfect example of this phenomenon. To understand its value, let's look at the background. The D Mint mark indicates that the coin was produced at the Denver Mint. Millions of these coins were struck in 1988 using the standard copper-plated zinc composition that began in 1982, after the U.S. Mint switched from the heavier copper cents. While most 1988 D Lincoln pennies are worth only face value, certain rare varieties and minting errors have been discovered that transform these seemingly ordinary coins into extraordinary treasures. One of the most famous and sought-after varieties from 1988 is the so-called 1988 D reverse of 1989 penny. This particular variety occurs when the coin's obverse, the front with Lincoln's portrait, is paired with a reverse die meant for 1989 cents. It may sound like a small mistake, but for collectors, such transitional errors are extremely exciting. They provide a glimpse into the coin production process and are prized for their rarity. To the untrained eye, it might look like a normal penny, but upon closer inspection, certain subtle details give away its unique identity. So, what should you look for? On the reverse side of the coin, focus on the area around the letters AM in America. On the standard 1988 D reverse, the letters have a slightly wider spacing, while on the reverse of 1989 variety, the letters are closer together, and the design features sharper details, especially around the designer's initials, FG, located near the Lincoln Memorial. On the 1989 reverse, the G in FG sits closer to the base of the memorial and has a distinct appearance. This difference is key in identifying the valuable variety. Collectors who discover this transitional error can find themselves holding a small fortune. Prices vary depending on the condition, grade, and clarity of the details. A coin in circulated condition may fetch several hundred to several $1,000s, but those found in mint state condition or graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC can bring tens of thousands of dollars at auction. In pristine condition, the 1988 D Lincoln penny with the reverse of 1989 has reached market values as high as $78,998. That's an incredible sum for a coin that most people overlook every single day. The grading of a coin plays a significant role in determining its value. The higher the grade, the sharper the details, the fewer the scratches, and the more brilliant the luster. Professional grading services examine coins under magnification, assessing the strike quality, surface preservation, and any minting anomalies. A top-grade 1988 D Lincoln penny that exhibits this rare reverse design and maintains its original mint luster could easily command record-breaking prices. Beyond the transitional error, other minting mistakes from the same year have also gained collector attention. Some examples include off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, and broad strikes. While these errors might not all reach the same jaw-dropping values, they are still worth inspecting, as they add interest and rarity to your collection. For coin collectors and treasure hunters, searching for these varieties is part of the thrill. Many people have discovered valuable coins by simply examining their loose change, coin rolls, or old jars of pennies stored away for decades. The idea that you could hold a penny worth nearly $80,000 in your hand is both exciting and motivating. If you want to start searching for the valuable 1988 penny, here are a few important steps. First, gather your pennies and separate them by year and mint mark. Set aside all 1988 coins for closer inspection. Use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to examine the reverse side. Focus on the letters, America, and the designer's initials, FG. Compare them with images of both the regular and the 1989 reverse designs, which you can easily find in coin reference guides or online resources. Once you suspect you might have the transitional variety, avoid cleaning or altering the coin, as this can drastically reduce its value. Instead, consider sending it to a professional grading service for authentication. Another key factor that influences coin value is rarity. The number of 1988 Lincoln pennies struck with the 1989 reverse is limited. Because these were unintentional transitional errors, very few escape the mint. Their scarcity drives up demand, and as more collectors learn about them, prices have steadily risen over the years. The market for Lincoln cents remains strong because they are easy to collect, inexpensive to start with, and full of potential surprises like this one. The Lincoln penny has always held a special place in American history. It symbolizes honesty, perseverance, and the spirit of hard work, traits associated with Abraham Lincoln himself. Every generation has found new reasons to appreciate this humble coin, whether for its design, its symbolism, or its investment potential. The 1988 Lincoln penny with this rare variety is a testament to how even the smallest details can create massive value when discovered and verified. Many collectors recommend keeping an eye out not only for mint mark differences but also for subtle design variations, as the U.S. Mint frequently updates dies and tools between years. Transitional errors like the 1988 reverse of 1989 variety occur during these changeovers, when older dies are mistakenly used for new production runs. Such moments of overlap have produced some of the most legendary and valuable coins in American numismatic history. When looking at auction records, several examples of the 1988 transitional penny have sold for tens of thousands of dollars depending on condition. These sales prove that collectors are willing to pay a premium for rare, authenticated coins. As the hobby continues to grow, demand for these unusual varieties is expected to increase even further, pushing market values even higher. In addition to its value as a collectible, this coin serves as a reminder that small details can have big significance. What sets this penny apart is not just its metallic composition or its year of mintage, but the story it tells about human oversight and precision in the minting process. Each era coin reflects a moment in time when machinery, design changes, and human supervision intersected to create something unique. Coin collectors often talk about the hunt, the excitement of sifting through rolls of pennies, checking every date and mint mark, and hoping to stumble upon that one rare gem. The 1988 penny is one of those treasures that fuels that passion. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a curious beginner, understanding the story and features of this coin gives you a deeper appreciation for the art and science of coin collecting. Imagine the possibility that a coin sitting unnoticed in a coin jar could be your ticket to financial freedom. Stories have surfaced of collectors and even ordinary people discovering these rare pennies in circulation, only to later learn that they possessed a coin worth thousands of dollars. The thought that a penny struck more than 3 decades ago could command nearly $80,000 today shows just how remarkable the world of coin collecting can be. As time passes, the number of uncirculated 1988 Lincoln pennies decreases, and high-quality examples become harder to find. This natural scarcity contributes to increasing value over time. Coins preserved in mint sets, rolls, or protected holders are more likely to retain their luster and fine details, making them more desirable to buyers and collectors. If you're passionate about collecting or investing in rare coins, now is a great time to explore the Lincoln Cent series, especially the 1988 variety. Its combination of historical importance, rarity, and extraordinary market value makes it one of the most talked about modern-era Lincoln cents. Always remember that patience, research, and careful observation are key in coin collecting. Take the time to study your coins, compare them, and learn about the history of the minting process.